I'm Ben Timmons with Automobile Magazine, and I'm standing next to a car that most of you will recognize. It's the BMW 3 Series. Now, if you know one thing about the 3 Series, it's this. It's not just a sports sedan, it's the sports sedan. We're pretty big fans of the BMW 3 Series here at Automobile, thanks to its potent blend of sport and luxury. In fact, we've given it 18 awards in 27 years, including giving it Automobile of the Year in 2006. If you look up the word benchmark in the dictionary, there won't be a picture of the BMW 3 Series, but we think there should be. With the release of this new generation of 3 Series in 2011, we were obviously pretty excited to try a new one for a year, but we quickly ran into a serious question. See, this 3 Series is the first to come in a handful of lines or special trim levels that set up the car to your desires. There's the luxury line, which adds special styles of wood on the interior and conservative wheels on the outside. There's the sport line, which adds a stiffer suspension and racier wheels. Or go for the M Sport package, which adds a racy aero kit. And if none of those are to your liking, you can go for the modern line, which adds special interior and exterior colors. Our car is a luxury line with a conservative black paint job over a brown interior with some dark brown wood. And we were fans of how it looked at night or during the day, on the track, on our favorite roads, even in traffic. But the luxury line didn't win any fans when we got behind the wheel and wanted to drive the car like, well, a BMW 3 Series. See, the reason we chose the luxury line, aside from its looks, is we wanted the softer suspension, figuring that the sport line's firmer suspension would be unbearable on Michigan's bad roads. It was a lesson that we learned with our last generation 3 Series 4 Seasons tester back in 2006. This luxury line car is just too soft. The suspension is nice on long road trips, but on tight back roads, it just floats and wallows. And when we took it to the track, it just flopped. The steering is BMW's first attempt at putting electric assist instead of hydraulic in its cars. And it's valiant in that it should give us more MPGs, but it's just numb and distant. Unless you put it in sport mode, which is only a little bit better. The tires are eco-minded, low rolling resistance numbers, which again should give us more MPGs, but when we took them to the track, they just fell apart. Keep in mind, when those tires fall apart, it's $1,200 a set. We did like one eco-minded edition, and that's this, the twin-power 2-liter turbocharged 4-cylinder. While it lacked the character or the passion of a typical BMW straight 6, it never lacked for power, and it regularly returned more than 30 miles to the gallon during its year with us. What we didn't like, however, was the 6-speed manual transmission's long throws and very long clutch pedal travel. And then there's the start-up and idle noise for this engine, which sounds, well, like this. So maybe the 328i Luxury wasn't the sports sedan that we thought, but where it lacked in sportiness, it excelled in luxury and convenience. We loved the car's iDrive infotainment system, especially this big screen which can display music on one side and navigation on the other. We also liked its ability to search for points of interest via Google. The optional Harman Kardon sound system was very good, as is the head-up display that displays things like Bluetooth caller information or navigation directions or whatever song is playing, as well as your current speed. A couple of us did have issues operating the foot-operated trunk release, but those of us who didn't absolutely loved it. So we've arrived at a bit of a mixed verdict and a year-long oops. As it turns out, the new BMW 3 Series is only sporty if you check the options box marked Sport, and we checked the box marked Luxury. We admit that we're partially at fault here, but we made that decision because we thought that all BMW 3 Series would be fun to drive, regardless. While we enjoyed our year road tripping and commuting with this car, it ultimately wasn't as fun to drive as its predecessor, and that's a bit of a disappointment. For Automobile Magazine, I'm Ben Timmons.